Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use, tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, you guys, get ready to have your barf bag because nothing I like better than to use Scientology's own words against them, because they just can't help but walk into it. They can't help it. This is dated April 25th, 2021. This is Darwin's Bulletin on Medium. There are 7 major factors that are key to raising children in Scientology: teaching communication, assisting your children, the use of the tone scale, encouraging your kids to participate in the household. They're grooming the child so that they can produce. Believing the soul is immortal. Isn't that pretty much every religion? Promoting physical health, like when they make them run in the RPF, or they make them run everywhere in the Estates Project Force, which is kind of similar to a basic training in the military. It's fake, but, it's similar. Because, all children need to be in basic training, right? And having your child go through the purification rundown. Medical neglect, anyone? All you have to do is do a Google search. It's public knowledge. How many doctors have spoken out about the purif rundown? And it's especially dangerous for children. So, parents that are in Scientology, or as far as that goes, any of these adults in Scientology working around these children, you are endangering their lives and you are putting them at risk when you think it's smart to put them on the purif rundown. It's facts. These factors stem from L. Ron Hubbard's family-focused literature. Can you guys believe this? Can you believe the black tooth, pot-belly, drug addict, failed military loser? He couldn't even make it in dark occultism. That's what a loser he was. And he certainly was not successful in his families. And was also guilty of, what is it called? Bigamy. He was married to 2 women at one time. Go look it up. Has the audacity to give other people advice on having a family. And we all know that in Scientology, family is the least important. Now, I'm not saying that Scientologists' hearts don't want family. But everything in Scientology goes against it, because that's black magic, that's diabolical magic. They're inverting everything that's natural. Sound familiar with what we're seeing today? But what do I know? I'm just a paranoid conspiracy theorist redhead from the Midwest. Hubbard's family-focused literature and the 3 official courses offered by Scientology. Having a happy baby. Does that come when you feed your baby with barley water? Successfully raising children? Does successfully raising a child mean putting them in the Sea Org, bunking up with 4 or 5 other children and sometimes other adults, which subjects them to serious harm and danger? Is that what successfully raising children in Scientology is? Inquiring MF minds want to know. And successfully parenting tweens and teens. Well, let's get this straight. That's when the Scientology recruiters begin to recruit your children. Let's just be honest here. No more beating around the bush. No more putting out PR to try to cover it all up. These outline parenting strategies that reflect the theology. Theology! They're still going with that. Oh, I can't. I'm sorry I laughed right in the mic here, you guys. You know, technology. Unreal. And give us an idea as to what it may be like to be a parent. Well, you know what I think a lot of Scientology parents should do? They should get parental advice from people that are not Scientologists. And that from people that actually love their children, nurture their children, protect their children, take care of their children, and don't utilize policies, technologies that have woven into and incorporate child abuse. Wakey, wakey, everyone. And give us an idea as to what it may be like to be a parent. Like I said, you might want to find out what a real parent is like outside of Scientology. And a child in the church. Well, you don't let the children talk, so the public has no idea what your child thinks. We know they're being abused, but the children in Scientology, their voices are silenced. From my research, being a good parent, oh, this should be good, you guys. Listen to this bullshit. Means implementing the following. You know, because you need a long list of idiotic things to do to be a parent, right? Number one, communication. A lot of Hubbard's ideas, you mean the ones he stole, are very simple. Well, he's simple and straightforward. Imagine people actually writing this on a piece of paper. And some are just common sense. Nothing about L. Ron drug addict Hubbard had common sense. Oh, I forgot to add that one, and he was a drug addict too. Communication is a very important part of a Scientologist's life. Yeah, that's why they never talk to people or the child advocates outside their buildings, right? Their hotels. It is a key aspect of being a functioning and good person. Please. Courses for children and adults are provided in churches, church-affiliated organizations. Notice that they don't put the organizations in there. And online to help people master communication. The most non-communicating people I've ever seen in my life. They walk around as if they're mute. I'm sorry. You know, Scientologists, I don't hate you guys. I really don't. I don't like the child abuse. Number two, assists. There are a few different kinds, but basically, these are what parents use when children are injured or ill or emotionally distraught. Now, let's just make this perfectly clear, you guys. That means they give the child the assist, and this will be explained, but they don't take them to the doctor. They usually will blame the child that they're injured or sick. And in fact, I think just being sick or ill would make them down stat, would make them degraded, would make them out ethics. So of course they don't put that in a newspaper article. Touch assists are when an assisting person touches the injured body. Oh, let's just clear this one up too. Okay, it's not just parents and children. It's also other adult Scientologists are allowed to touch their children. Now, I can't speak for every single Scientologist parent, but we know what's going on in Scientology, especially in the auditing rooms. Touch assists are when an assisting person touches the injured body, like a child, to bring attention to the physical form. The touch assist is meant to speed recovery. I mean, and they don't utilize like energy healing. I know that Reiki healing works, but of course they don't get into all that. Contact assists are when the body is put back in contact with the location the injury occurred or with the object that caused it. What do they do when the child gets sexually abused? Huh? The contact assist is the most common and is believed to alleviate pain, provide comfort, and speed the healing process. A nerve assist is similar to a massage. Let me say that again, you guys. Oh, I can't. It's going to maximize it. A nerve assist is similar to a massage. Boundaries, anyone? To stimulate nerves, which also promotes healing. What could go wrong? Lastly, a location assist is for emotional pain. Well, that would be all of the Scientology children, right? They're all in emotional pain. Just listen to Nathan Rich's book. I just read chapter 13, and I'll be reading chapter 14 shortly. Nathan Rich was in so much emotional pain when he was on the lower ranch that him and some of the other Scientology children started to do drugs and alcohol because they were imprisoned in that lower ranch. Parents weren't there to help them. Guardians were not there to help them. LAPD was not there to help them. The FBI was not there to help them. Department of Justice was not there to help them. Child Protective Services were not there to help them because of all of the emotional pain that they were in and all the emotional pain that the child Scientologists currently are in. What is it? I would, based on my research, I would venture to say 80% to 90% of the child Scientologists are suicidal, have suicidal ideation, or have attempted it. I'll bet I'm right. I bet that location assist won't help that. Touching all on the children. This assist moves the person's attention away from whatever is bothering them. In other words, it's just distraction. It's just distraction. Hubbard wasn't sophisticated enough to understand Reiki healing or Qigong. Oh, this is going to be good. Number 3, the tone scale. The emotional tone scale. How many child Scientologists have we heard about who were constantly barraged and abused and yelled at to change their tone, to turn their children into robots without emotions? The emotional tone scale, also known as tone 40, is a spectrum of emotions to be identified. All metaphysical teachers talk about these things, but they don't use it to control or as a weapon the way Hubbard did, and charged him for it too. The scale shows the range of emotional states: grief to happiness, or negative 40 to 40. It is believed that every tone level has its own unique behavior. And I just want to touch on any child with any kind of a disability is considered a degraded being. And I believe they're like -1 or 2 on the tone scale. It does make me curious about what John Travolta thought about his son. I'll never know. For example, someone who is angry is likely to shout and act violently. You talking about the Scientology parent? Because apparently all the adults treat the children like that in Scientology, screaming and hollering, using the F word. Every other word is F this and F that to the child, otherwise known as verbal abuse. Someone who is angry is likely to shout and act violently. And it is an advantage for Scientologists to be able to identify what tone people are in order to predict behavior and interfere to change it. Listen to that, interfere. Interfere, because you're not allowed to feel your emotions. Make you wonder why Nathan Rich wanted to just numb out? Because his heart was broken? And all those children at the lower ranch, and all the other schools that were being abused, broken hearts? Hubbard explained in a 1957 lecture titled Child Scientology. Bet that Minkoff chick wouldn't talk about this, would she? That it is absolutely necessary for children to have formal training in the tone scale. You know, because they're trying to make them robots. That's why. That's why. And the rumor is that L. Ron Hubbard sexually abused his daughter Diana. It's all over the internet. Don't even try to scrub it. It's already out there. You can't sue me for defamation because this is on public sites all over the place. In addition to control, communication, havingness, more moronic ideas here, a 4-step communication technique. Without this training, Scientology will simply not work for children. By the way, memo, it doesn't work for any child Scientologist. And in fact, the adults, you're just brainwashed to believe it does. Wakey, wakey. The ability to identify and manipulate. Identify and manipulate others' emotions is seen as a part of productivity and essential for functioning in society. Always with the productivity. Productivity. Number 4, participation in the household. In Scientology, it is believed that souls are immortal. You guys notice they don't put in here children are adults in small bodies? Could they have something to hide? You sure as hell don't see that in the mass media reports, do you? And honestly, some of the mass media have tried to expose this. But one reporter can't just do everything. And we have already lived life many, many times. Well, yeah, and also, too, L. Ron Hubbard had explained that a 7-year-old girl should be fine and okay with a grown man kissing her passionately. You know why? Because she should be able to remember and relate to all of her previous sexual experiences from past lives. You know, pedophilia. So children have already experienced and learned everything. They just need to remember. This creates high expectations for children of all ages, and to perform pretty much any task. How many times have we heard about this? That the children are just thrown out there to do all that child labor? They wouldn't know how to run maybe a lawnmower, or they didn't know how to do construction work. They didn't know how to cook a turkey, but they needed to just call on their memories from past lives, or just needed to figure it out. Isn't that wonderful? This creates high expectations for children of all ages. Yeah, exploitation, trafficking, child labor, child physical abuse, child sexual abuse, child neglect. Guys, you knew I was going to tear this apart. Hubbard's theory is scripture. Also says that if you don't include your child in performing tasks, they gotta get that child slavery going right away. You see? So I don't respect these parents that allow their children to be abused like this. And any adults in Scientology that are complicit with this, you're just as bad. You know what happens to a Scientology child when they cry like that? They get put out ethics. They get called interbulated, banky, told they need to make amends. Yeah, that's their reality. That if you don't include your child in performing tasks in the household, they will resent you. You see the inversion, you guys? No, what children need to be doing is playing, learning subjects that they enjoy to learn, going outside and running, being on a playground, going on the merry-go-round, on the swings, doing gymnastics, having friends. That's what children should be doing. They will resent you, rebel against the family. So include them or else. That's the inversion, you guys. So if Scientology parents and Scientology adults can't see this, they're just moronic. I'm sorry. There's no excuse for this. There's no excuse. All the sleep deprivation in the world, all the indoctrination of the courses and the lecture tapes that they listen to, and going up the bridge and all that, it's not an excuse to abuse children. Number 5, the immortal soul. Scientologist or dualist, like duality, you guys, in that they believe that humans have a soul, Atma, which they call a thetan. I always got the impression that Thetans were spirits. I've never heard anyone call it a soul. I don't know, maybe I'm just catching up here, but soul and spirit is far different thing. Separate from the physical body. That's where when people like at OT3, when they start to have nervous breakdowns in that, and OT5, that's when they start finding out about all the thetans within them, which is basically a thought body. So in metaphysical terms, all the thoughts that you think in your mind, that would be like a thetan. Like a spirit, or I guess they're calling it a soul. I don't buy the soul story here. That's when people start to have those nervous breakdowns they start to hear voices and stuff. Some people. A thetan separate from the physical body. Thetans occupy the earth and human bodies forever. Yeah, see, that doesn't sound right. It's not a soul, it's spirits. Forever in a process of reincarnation. Thetans accumulate trauma during their lifetime on earth. Well, Hubbard would know, right? He induced so much trauma on everyone. Trauma mind control. Earth through negative experiences. This trauma forms engrams. Only through auditing, interrogation. I've been calling auditing interrogations from day one. And in Nathan Rich's book, that's exactly how he described it. Facts. A counseling service. It is not a counseling service. It's interrogation for blackmail material, and they're making everybody pay a lot of money for it, and making the children go through it, and making the children become auditors. Funny how they didn't put that in the article. Oh, God. Only through auditing a counseling service provided in Scientology can thetans become clear of engrams. I think that the engrams are actually the thought bodies. That's the way I look at it. Thetans also accumulate any drugs consumed in past lives. Drugs, including medicines like common painkillers, are seen as an enemy of Scientology. That's why everybody's dying young. That's why. I mean, I'm not a big believer in taking a lot of medications, and I don't want to get into my whole personal story, but, medical technologies and science can help a lot of people. Drugs and past drugs are removed from the thetan by a purification process to become clear. Becoming clear restores the original decency and goodness of a thetan, and this clarity is a state of spiritual awareness referred to as total freedom. That's why they have that stupid magazine. Number 6, physical health. Pretty straightforward. It is considered important to house the thetan in a healthy house. Yeah, everyone in Scientology looks like the epitome of health, don't they? And I'm not trying to be mean, you guys. I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings. But a lot of the older men have that hunchback, and that comes from malnutrition. And we see a lot of these elders, they can't even walk. And I'll always have mixed feelings about some of these elders. Anyways, okay, I'm not going to go too long on that one. Number 7, the purification rundown. This is a detoxification program meant to release any lingering toxins and drugs from the body from past lives. That's why they have the 5-year-olds doing the purif. Like I mentioned before, in Scientology, the soul is eternal and has been around the block a few billion times. Is that why you sign the billion-year contracts when you're 5? And in these past lives, we don't know what the soul got up to. The purification is a series of exercises, diets, and sauna sitting. Oh yeah, like how they have the children sit with half-naked adults in the sauna with only a towel over them. Boundary violations, anyone? Oh, I'm never going to get finished with this. The purification is a series of... Okay, I already did that. Like Christian baptism. Can you guys imagine the audacity of that statement? This purification is the initiation. Is it like a Freemasonic initiation? Coring MF minds want to know. Is it a kakan? Is it a kakan? Scientology and is usually done around the ages of 14 to 15. You guys see how they had to put the ages in there? They lie. They just lie because they know how many people are finding out now. It's called aiding and abetting, covering up crimes. Oh, gosh. Some of these parenting topics, you know, people that abdicate their parental duties, they're not parents. Bro, they're not parents. Standard for any parent, regardless of religion, and some seem bizarre or even counterproductive. I just can't. I'm done, you guys. So I'll leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night, wherever you are. Please like and subscribe if you choose to. I'll have more coming tomorrow. Peace.